Deanie, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
How did you get into theater?
Oh, wow. Well, back when I was a police officer, I had gotten my 20 years on, and, after working undercover for so many years, I decided, I've had enough chasing the bad guys. I'm going to do something fun. So a friend of mine introduced me into clowning.
Right.
And so, went to several different schools, learned about props, acting, and costumes and makeup, and started doing some weekend clowning stuff, which I really enjoyed, but I didn't want to work weekends. So I came up with this brilliant idea one night. I thought, you know what? Finish out your career.
Yeah.
Write a proposal to the chief. See if he'll accept you writing a children's safety program as a police clown character.
Right.
So that's what I did. Wrote a proposal, met with him. He said, you do it. I said, okay. So I transferred out of narcotics into community services and developed. It took me about a year to develop it, do the whole thing, from the music to the costumes to the backdrop to the props to the skits. I mean, I did the whole 9 yards.
Right.
And then I had a partner come in. So anyway, from that, and I did that for 4 years.
Right.
So that's how I really got involved in theater and the arts of it. When I retired, I kind of went a different direction and didn't do anything in the arts community for a long time until I moved to Conroe and happened to see that they need volunteers at the Crighton. I came to the theater for a play. Right. And actually for Ray Price. And
okay, yes.
So I filled out the application and was invited in, and that's how I got started.
Got sucked in.
But I have to say that since I've been here, let's see, I started last June, I believe.
Right.
And it has really brought joy to me.
But that's good.
Because I've been able to really get back into that, what I learned, and I enjoyed it back then, immensely. And then now I'm in the big picture of it all. It's like taking something small from what I did for 4 years to now. It's like, oh my gosh. It's almost overwhelming sometimes.
Oh, but it sounds like a lot of fun, though.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
But it sounds like actually you probably had training before you realized, because you were undercover, right?
Right.
Which sounds like you already had to be in character.
Absolutely. Right. 17 years. When you go undercover, and I took some classes from a lady on acting, and she got to talking about, working with scripts and staying in character. And I was thinking through this whole process, I was going, I did that for 17 years without a script.
And with a little bit more at stake.
A lot more.
Right? Like your life sometimes.
Yeah, a lot more at stake. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, you had to stay in character the whole time once you go into undercover.
Right.
And you've got to be able to, you've got to play on that person that you're talking to.
Right.
And so, and if you get into a dangerous situation or they're wanting you to do something right then that's not appropriate, you got to be able to get yourself out of it. So, without a script, 17 years, I did a lot of acting.
Wow. Well, like all these different series, like Burn Notice, was it Covert Ops? You've probably seen some of them too. They always talk about, where the bad guys are always testing you. Did you ever get tested in that way?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of times you got tested. You just got to be a good BSer and get yourself out of it.
Was there ever a time you went like, oh crap, this could be it?
A lot of times.
A lot of times? More than your mom should know, right?
More than my mom and dad really wanted to know.
How was your day, Dee? It was fine.
It was great, yeah. Yeah, I had a great time today, I had a gun put to my head and tried to get out of that one. No. No, so it is like acting. I mean, it is acting, but, as acting, you prepare, on stage and theater, you have a script and you prepare yourself mentally. You know what you're going to do. You know what you're going to say. Well, it's the same way as working undercover. You prepare yourself mentally on a safety issue, and do a lot of what ifs.
Yes.
And so, and I do that still today.
Yes.
What if? What if I get out of the car at the store? What if?
Right.
Someone approaches me. So I'm still have that what if thing in me.
Which is very good because actually on stage, That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And we probably should play that game more. What if my fellow actor forgets their line?
Exactly.
What are you going to do?
Right.
How are you going to cover it?
Right.
What if there's a costume issue or something falls on the stage? Well, how are you going to do it in character and
exactly.
and fix it? So you're already prepared in that sense.
Yeah. So you got to stay mentally prepared.
Yes.
And not only before, but during and after. Yeah. And then a lot of things, what I learned a lot from working undercover is after the situation happened and I was back at the office and taking a deep breath and, going, wow, what just happened, and reviewing everything, and maybe I should have done this. So we're always being critical of ourselves.
Yes.
And that's the same in the
same in acting too, right?
Same in acting too. But I loved it. I loved the career.
Really? I know you just interviewed for like it's not like a film, or is it just a TV series? What is that?
Discovery ID.
Okay.
And that's for a female retired detective to talk about homicide stories. And so that we're waiting to find out, to hear something back.
Good. Well, we're hoping good things. I mean, it went a long time. I'm hoping that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's well. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it went really well. They only gave me 20 minutes, and actually they gave me an hour and 4 stories instead of 2. So that's kind of. He said he'd be back with me in a couple of weeks. So you know how that goes.
Yeah,
a month or 2, you might hear something.
Yeah, so when you'll move on to other stuff. And
right.
You're doing Dust Bowl Motel, so how did you get sucked into this, like the rest of us?
Well, Scott had, who's actually the running that whole scenario. I think that he wrote the story. He had come into the studio or to the theater one day and asked me to do the signs and stuff, and so I did some of the lettering and the signage for him, and then they didn't have anyone to play this attorney role.
Right.
And I go, I can play an attorney. Been up against a lot of them, and some of the best on the court stand. So I know their lingo. It's been fun. It's been an experience too. So I'm running from rumors, rehearsal to here.
Yes, this is typical for most actors. We're doing multiple shows at all the time. Yeah,
right.
Multiple. We're acting. We're rehearsing. We're fixing stuff. Yeah, okay.
So and actually, this will be the first time that I've ever done anything actually on a theater stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but your stage was someplace else. It was out there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you've been on stage, just a different stage.
Right.
That's wild. Well, no, we're glad to have you.
I probably need to think on the aspect of, well, these are all crooks I'm dealing with. I need to play my undercover role.
You're helping out certainly on backstage, and we're so thankful for that. You're now getting on the stage. What would you like to do that you haven't done yet on stage?
Well, my thing is I like to learn something new every day, and if it's something new that catches my interest, then I go for it. So, it's whatever I'm hit with that day, and if I learn something new and I think, I'd really like to know just a little bit more about that. I have a friend of mine that he's working on several books and a movie deal, and he's been throwing some stuff at me on this book deal that he's writing. So I'm really trying to get my mindset on helping him write this book on a biblical sense, but it's going to be very interesting. So I would like to eventually write. People have always said, why don't you write a book, Deanie? And I go, statute of limitations are really not up on a lot of things yet, so can't write a book just yet.
The names have been changed to protect the guilty, but other than that.
Exactly. So, but I like to learn something new every day. And then if it catches my interest, then I'll pursue it a little bit further. So I'm just right now I'm pretty content and pretty busy with the theater, so my mind is like focused here and focused there.
Well, we're glad you came to Conroe, but why Conroe?
Well, I have a home care business, and then I have some dear friends that have been friends for 30-something years. That they're up in age and they live in Conroe, and they've been talking to me about coming to Conroe for a long time. and my clients are up here.
Right.
So I sold my house in Cy-Fair and moved up
good
to
ways.
Conroe. Yeah. And I've always liked Conroe.
Yep.
And I actually love it more now because where I live, I'm like 5 minutes from everything. So,
Wow.
Yeah. I really do like it. I'm glad I made the move.
Mm-hmm. Were you in the Houston Police Department?
Houston Police Department.
Which is still a pretty good ways from here.
Yeah.
What has changed in Houston over the past, say, 20 years since you've been here?
Oh my gosh. Just everything. It's not just in Houston. It's in every community.
Sure.
You know, you've got your law enforcement community has changed. Back when I was on, there were very few female officers on the street, so it was very new to the public back then, and you got a lot of respect from the community.
Right.
But on that, police officers today it's very difficult for them.
Mm-hmm.
So policing has changed, your government has changed, just like everything else. Yeah. Wherever you live, the cities are going to change with the times.
Yes, they do.
And so I have to say, 20 years ago, I liked it 20 years ago. I'm not so happy about the way things are going today, but, it is what it is, and you try to do what you can to be a good citizen and do the right thing and for the right people, and you'll be blessed.
What about Conroe? Must have seen changes over Conroe over time, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Houston, back 20, 30 years ago, coming to Conroe was like a day's vacation. I mean, you was going out to the country then. You were going out of Houston. We planned on spending the night in Conroe from Houston. But now it's like Conroe is melted into the Woodlands, and Woodlands melted into Houston. So, coming to Conroe is nothing now. It's grown so much, and it's going to continue to grow because all the major businesses that are coming into Houston, and there's just so much development. It's like, where are these people coming from? Where are they going to put all these people?
It's incredible. Just incredible. How did you get into the home care business?
Oh, wow. Family. My dad was diagnosed with cancer 20 years ago. Actually, 21 years ago, and he became sick, and so I took care of him. And then my mother got sick. I took care of her. I took care of my grandmother, and my passion has always been for the elderly and the sick, and so I developed it about 4 years ago. I've been doing it off and on for about 8 years, but I never started a business per se. And a friend of mine contacted me and said, hey, I've got some friends that need some help. Would you come help me? And it was a hospice patient.
Right.
And I said, well, I've worked with hospice before, and I know what their rules are, so yeah, I'll do it for you. So that's how I got started into it, and I developed the business, and then I took on clients, and then I've worked a couple of hospice patients, and when I get a hospice patient, then I stop everything I'm doing. I move in 24/7 until they pass and take care of them. Because it's so important for the family, because a lot of them don't know how to handle it. And so I'm not only there for the patient, but I'm also there for the family. You find that you're there more for them than anything. And so just got into it. It's non-medical. I go in, and people like it, when they get sick, they want to stay in their own home.
Sure, they do. And
so I go into their homes, and Eleanor, I've been with Eleanor for over a year now. And so we have a great time together. We get into trouble every day.
It's a great program, but not only that, it's a much better way of spending our medical dollars, or what we don't have.
Yeah, most people want to go home.
Yes.
And I think that's where they should be. And if the family can do it, great. If they just, because they've got to carry on with their lives too. They've got jobs to go to. They've got kids. They got families. And it's not that they don't want to be there with their loved one, but it's a very emotional time for them too. Yeah. So, that's where I come in and just kind of take over until, they're passing. But it's always been my desire to help the elderly, because as children, our parents raise us.
Yes.
They feed us, they house us, they give us hopefully a good pathway of our lives. And hopefully we're smart enough to capitalize on that and be good about it and do what we're supposed to do.
Pay it forward.
And so I got to see a lot of where families weren't taking care of their loved ones when they got older. And that really bothered me. And so I thought, I'll just start a business and be able to help the elderly and the people that are sick. And I enjoy it.
Right.
I enjoy it.
Well, we need more people like you that do enjoy it, because it seems like the elderly, or I guess if you don't seem to have a function in our society, and when I function, I mean dollars, right?
Right.
Then you're just seen as worthless. And, as elderly, it's like, it just takes too much time, costs too costly. And you've seen the cost of, nursing homes.
Right.
You can spend thousands a month.
Oh, absolutely.
And the care is horrible.
It is horrible.
I mean, I'm not going to say everywhere. That's not
everywhere,
fair.
But no.
But you've been to enough of them. I've been to enough, and you just like, I can't believe this is out, and they're just taking advantage. That's what you feel.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It is sad. It's very sad. So I just, when I see an elderly person, I just want to run up to them and hug them. Big old hug. And, I mean, even if you just smile at them, they love that attention. They need that.
Yes, they do.
So they were here. They were here before us.
Yes, they paid their dues. They deserve.
That's exactly right.
Some care return.
As the family and the children, we should be taking care of them.
Should be. I think other societies seem to do a better job of that, but I don't know if that's just because that's the culture or they don't have the safety net, or not. I was reading something like in Vietnam for some reason, it ends up being, the lady, the daughter or whatever, that ends up being, unfortunately, the safety net.
Right.
And maybe the care is good, but it would be nice if people also had choices.
Exactly.
Where in our culture, I know maybe we used to take care of our elderly better, our parents better.
We do. And a lot of that has to do with, our lives are just so busy, and I understand that. And, but, I kind of look at it, if my parents were still alive and and they came down sick, I'd drop everything I did. I dropped everything. I moved back home and took care of my parents because it was very important to me to make sure that they got the care that I knew that they were going to get the care better from me. Than,
and they want to be as independent as possible, but they need help.
Exactly.
As we all do. So we just help them but maintain their dignity.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
I'll take care of you, Steve, whenever you get older.
Oh, crap. And coming too far away either.
I was with my friends the other night for dinner, and they are older than me. I'm the young one I've always been the young one of the group. So they're like 10, 15 years older than me. Right. But we've been friends forever. And so they all look at me, Deanie, you are going to take care of us, right? I go, absolutely. So you better be nice to me now.
When you're not doing any of this stuff, how do you decompress? Something? No?
I try to sleep.
Really?
I try to sleep. I mean,
it's overrated. What do you want to sleep for?
I wish I could, I wish I could say I had a way to decompress. I have a hard time sitting still at home.
You don't read books or anything like that? Listen to music? No.
I do listen to music. I love music. I've been taking guitar lessons and working on my keyboard. So that's a good way for me to, just get all this stuff that's going on, calm down and so I'll do a little bit of that. I'm real big into arts and crafts.
Yes.
And so I find that, my dining room is not a dining room.
Right.
It's a craft room. My garage is barely holds my car because I've got craft boxes everywhere in there. So I do a lot of that. I like it when I start working on crafts, and it's just little stuff from jewelry to T-shirts or whatever. Paintings, then I don't think about anything else. It's like when I'm up at the theater. Yeah. I don't think about it.
You zone out. And you just concentrate on whatever it is you're working on.
Exactly.
So we obviously don't give you enough arts and crafts projects to do. You got to go home and work on more arts and crafts projects.
I know. And I find that that's rests my mind. It quiets me. Yeah. And and I try to sit down and watch some TV, catch up on that or the news but
That's not the same. It sounds like
It's
you
not
still
the
find
same.
the piece that is working on the craft. Huh?
Yeah. If I read a book, I'm
Yeah.
in it for 5 minutes and then I'm out. Honestly. And listen to the radio. I like to put my headphones. Sometimes I put my headphones on and I'm just, just sit there and listen to the music, and then all of a sudden I'm gone.
Yeah. So when you're working on a craft, do you have music playing, or no? Is it, you like it quiet, or are you talking? What?
It depends on how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes it's very quiet.
Yep.
And then sometimes I just have the music blaring and going.
Right.
Depends on my mood and how much, what I want to get done. And
So when you get down, it sounds like you're too busy to get down, but when you get down, how do you bring yourself back up?
Oh, that's a good question. I like that question because I've never been asked that question before by psychiatrists. No, I'm teasing. When I get down, it's like, okay, it's all right. Just take a deep breath, and I usually realize that, quite often, and I hardly ever get down, and because I got so much going on in my life to be happy about. So, and I can't afford to, and I don't have the time to be down.
Not the kind of time, yeah. Got to craft to work on.
Exactly. Go work on crafts. That'll make you feel better.
Do you go to like craft shows and stuff like that?
No,
conventions?
I really don't. I never really got into that. A lot of my stuff that I do, I donate or I make for friends or gift baskets or, And, another thing I like to do too is golf. I love to play golf.
You're into golf?
Yeah. So that's another thing. If when I get on the golf course, that's another place I don't think about nothing.
Really?
I don't think about a thing except golf.
What is it about golf for you?
Because it's a competition between myself, the game. Yeah. And I'm not in competition with anyone else but me. Right. And I like that. Right. I get mad at myself too. So, I started playing golf about 30 years ago, off and on. Yeah. And then when I retired in 2004, I was playing 3 and 4 times a week, going to a lot of tournaments, and then that's when I got really serious into it. And so now I play. I try to play once a week if I get a chance, and then I play in a lot of tournaments. So I like that.
Wow.
That's fun.
I'm not any good at golf, but I find that golf for me is such a zen experience. The less I think about it, the better I do. The more you think about it, it just goes down from there.
Exactly
Why is that? Is that true for you or no?
It is true for me.
Why is that?
If I get up there, because you're just trying too hard. Yeah. And that mind's going, okay, when I get over that ball and my mind's going, okay, do this. Yeah. The checklist, and go, just forget the checklist. Just get up there and hit the ball. Okay? And hope that you can find it when you hit it. And hope it goes where you want it to go. And you'll find that 9 times out of 10 it does go.
It does a better job.
Don't even.
What is it about that?
I don't know.
Who invented this game?
It's all up here.
Yes, it is.
It's all up here.
Yeah. And I'm surprised. I used to play tennis a lot. Not that I was any good at it, but they're all a lot of mind games, right?
Yeah.
A lot of mind games.
That was a game that I wanted to play, was tennis.
Tennis, yeah.
But every time I play it, I'd hit the ball, instead of that net, I'd hit it over the back fence. So I took up racquetball here recently.
Oh yeah, because it contains.
I can hit it anywhere, and that ball's going to come back to me at some point. I don't have to worry about hitting it over that fence and then having to go get that little tennis ball.
Oh, well, when we were kids, we did it deliberately. So we'd go to a tennis court at night, and we wouldn't use the regular net. We'd use the fences. And that would be our net, and we'd go back and forth.
Oh, my God. I can just see that.
It was a lot of fun.
Now you can get these dogs that'll chase the tennis balls. So once you lose that tennis ball, I have a dog that used to watch for a friend of mine, and he loved tennis balls. Yeah. And I'd take him with, go get that ball. He'd go around and get that ball and come back. Good. Retrieve the ball for me.
That's not how Harley does it.
No.
Harley does it 2 or 3 times, and then the third time he just watches it bounce. And then he looks at you like, you want me to do what?
You want me to do what? Are you kidding?
He gets bored after a while. It's just kind of like, that's it?
That's all this ball's going to do, is you're going to throw it? I understand that.
I have to get it. I just did that.
Yeah. I'm tired. Give me a bone, and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Well, it sounds like your home care business keeps you kind of close to here. You don't get much chance to travel. Do you get the chance to travel or no?
No, I really don't. Because,
Do you miss it, or do you like, I'd like to get out?
I really do need a vacation right now. I would love to. Actually, when I end up retiring, really totally retiring, I think I'm going to go to a deserted island somewhere in the South. I love the beach. I love the beach. I love the water. Yeah. And I could hang out on the beach all day.
Really?
Oh, all day, every day.
So where does that come from?
Well, I was raised on the water.
Right.
We had a bay house, and so our weekends were on the water. So I'm sure fishing and all that.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy that. It's for me to sit out and just listen to the water and the wind, and it's very peaceful, very comforting, and soaking up the sun, and so and I enjoy that. So my vacation, I need one of those soon.
We that's why I guess why we like going to Galveston. Now, Galveston is not the nicest beaches,
well, it's the closest,
but it's close, right?
Exactly.
And so just being able to go there, at least you can, it's, but it's not, I mean, there's better white sand beaches, there's better crystal clear water.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff, but it is close. So, and the food's not bad. People are quirky though. It's kind of interesting. And you do kind of get into this mode of like, what they call it, was it IBC, Islander by choice?
Yes.
You're either born there,
That's right.
or you're by choice, but there's a distinction.
There is.
And there's all different kind of crowds there. That's kind of surprising. All different, like groups. And they seem to come out of, like, when they have their arts thing, like once a month.
Yeah. These
people just come out of the woodwork and go like, where did you guys come from?
Exactly. Houston. That's where they come from. It's like going to Louisiana gambling. Where do you see Texas plates going over there.
Yes.
So it's the same with Galveston. Galveston is, they've come a long way, and I like Galveston, for their shopping venues, and if, not to get in the water or anything, but just hang out. Sorry, Galveston. But it is true. You know that.
Yeah, I really
and they have a great medical center.
Yes, they do.
Great teaching medical center there. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't get to do it enough, but they have that free ferry. The Bolivar Ferry, I guess, it goes, 24 hours, and it's great. Go get some bread, or give it to the seagulls, whatever.
Exactly.
It's kind of cheap fun.
It is.
Cheap fun. There's only a couple. I think it's Staten Island Ferry is the same way too.
Really?
Going to New York, same thing. It's free. Every half an hour it's going, and it's a great way to see New York without having to pay anything.
My ventures into New York was flying in, renting a car, and driving out as quick as I could.
Why?
Well, I have to say I didn't have a chance to really visit.
Was this work?
Yeah, it was work, and so I didn't have really a chance to really. But that's on my bucket list, is to go to New York.
Well, you guys definitely got to check out theater.
Absolutely, and I want to go.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I want to go to Ohio to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, I know we missed that. I can't believe that. It was Cleveland, right?
Yeah,
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's on my bucket. That's one of the first things I'm going to do when I retire.
So, how did you get into rock and roll?
Oh gosh, I came from a music family.
Really? You didn't say that. So come on, tell us about this music family.
I came from a music family. My uncle is the one that really got us all kind of involved, and he had always had a band, and he started with Mickey Gilley. When Mickey Gilley first came out, my uncle played with him.
Wow.
So I would spend, as a young girl, in loving the music and just being around that, I would sit hours in the recording studio watching them.
Wow.
And record, and which was a lot of fun. And then they came out with a TV show, and then my uncle's band would venture out and play at different venues on the weekends. And sometimes I'd go, and sometimes I'd babysit. Yeah. But my cousin, their son, ended up being a great musician, and he now he's had a band forever, since he was a little kid, really, actually. And then my music came from, actually, I didn't really learn, didn't take any interest at that point. Right. But when I went into junior high school, I picked up the clarinet, and then I played the French horn a little bit, and then from there in my adult years I kind of dealt with the drums back when I was a kid, and then now I play the drums a little bit, and learning guitar and keyboard. I need to work a little bit more on. So I just have always loved music, and I wish I could have been a rock and roll star, but no, I really love music. I love to hear it. I think people that make music are extremely interesting, talented, and just writing music.
Right.
And then in my house that I recently sold, I had a music room, as when I was married, all of my husband's family was musicians. Wow. So I'd have, and we would do house concerts to support the Texas bands. And so we'd move all the furniture out of my living room, and we'd put chairs in there, and then I'd put a decoration over the back of the windows to cover it up, and then I'd decorate it, and we'd put the band up there. And then I'd invite people in and charge like $20, and I supplied all the food. Every $20 went to the band because it's just to support them. Right. And they'd come in and play. And then, but my stepsons were musicians and professional musicians. And so I had to have 14 people in my house at one time. You got to have beds for them all. So I had 14 blow up beds. So, and then I'd love to cook for them because being on the road, they don't get good home cooking. So they always love to come to Mama D's house and hang out. Yeah, it's Mama D. Mama D's house, and I'd cook them a big breakfast, and and then they'd hit the road again, be gone. So, I just love music. I almost moved to Austin one time because I just wanted to be close to that music venue. The
music scene, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love music,
So if you've seen like the music creative process, I guess, do they, kind of create the music in front of you or re-practice it?
Yeah.
I mean, even the music scene has changed. You've probably seen that over the years too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to even change and evolve even different, as we go along. I love the music today. I love the music back then. I'm not big into opera, I'm not, because everybody has their own likes and dislikes. Right. Opera's not for me, but, and I don't do hip hop and rap. I'm not into that, but I love the oldies. I listen to the new music, and I like to listen to the words of the songs, because if you listen to the words of the songs, it really tells a lot about the person that's singing it. And sometimes we find in the music that it relates to us. Yes. And so we get a lot out of that. There's a great writer that, and he's a musician, and they're actually a local Houston band. They're worldwide now, called Blue October. And and I can remember my partner, his son, it was his two sons and their friends, and they started in a garage type band. Now they're world famous. But listening to his music, he's very deep, and he writes all their music for the band. Wow, yes. He's very deep, but oh my gosh, he writes about true stuff and then puts it, and his fans can relate to his music. Yes. And so, and I love that about his music. And my daughter introduced me to listening to it, because she loves Blue October because they all know her. And I said, I really didn't want to listen to it. I thought, okay, I'll listen. Yes. So on the way, taking her to school every day, we had to put in Blue October. And then I got to listening to it, and I'm going, whoa, this is some pretty cool stuff. You can relate to it. Right. So, and great guys. So I like to listen to the words. Yes. It's a lot of people just sing, because they like the beat and all that. But listening to the music means a lot. Right. Meet Mickey Gilley? Oh, yeah. So because he's been here, right? Yeah. I've not. Yeah, I'd love to. I'm sure he's coming back. But, I'd love to see him and go, do you remember? Because I know we did. Because my uncle played the fiddle. I remember a bunch of those guys from back then. Really? Yeah. So, did they create music? I mean, when you were there, because you were in the recording studio, right? So, did they do these things just like hundreds of times? Or were this like, I did once, okay, I'm done? Or no, it's like it is today. and of course the instrumentation and all that is the recording process is a lot different because of technology.
Right.
So you find that, they sing and they go, oh no, let's do this a different way. Right. So it's really the same thing. It's just technology is so much better today than it was back then. So yeah, they're still, oh yeah, you'd hear one song over and over and over again. But when they completed it, it was like, wow, great.
But I was surprised to hear how supportive all the country and western artists are of each other.
Very.
And from the very start, the beginning, and it's not that way in acting. It's not that in film and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's a shame.
And it's a shame.
It is.
It's a shame. Yeah,
it's kind of like, really, musicians, they're like one big family.
Yes.
And so they're very supportive of newcomers coming in, and they want to take them under their wings, and I like that. I think even in theater and acting, I don't know why, we're not even more close about that. It's kind of like, I really don't really know why. But
I don't know either. It seems like it's more competitive on the acting film.
I think that has a lot to do with it. But in
country western, it's just more cooperative.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that your chances are necessarily any better, but it's more, like you said, it's more like a family.
Yeah, it's like a family. Yeah, and then
the other one is just a dysfunctional family. So it's just fighting each other.
I guess you could say that.
It's family too. So what do you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Well, you know what? I want to skydive.
Really? Skydive?
My daughter got me into that. She called me up one day. She was in school in Austin, and she's totally blind, and she goes, look, she goes, I need for you to be here in New Braunfels at 11 o'clock. And I said, okay, you're in Austin. Why do I have to be in New Braunfels? She goes, because I'm going to skydive. I said, are you kidding me? Are you crazy? She goes, no, it's going to be fun. I go, okay. So Mom had to be there just to make sure nothing happened to the plane. I wanted to interview everybody, make sure y'all have your license. And so, she went up. She did it. She went through their day, instructions, and she got up, got all geared up, and she went tandem, and of course she's blind, so she wouldn't know when she's going to hit the ground.
Well, I was just saying, how do you know what's going on?
So she had a guy that went with her, of course, and so they get up in the plane and. She does it, and I'm seeing her falling out of the sky, and I'm bidding on, I'm going, is she crazy? She's crazy. And then she comes down. When she lands, she jumps up and she says, Mom, you gotta come try this. And I'm going, not today. Maybe tomorrow. But no, I'd really love to skydive. Just once.
Well, you might want to do it more than once. No. I'm not a thrill seeker. Absolutely. But there used to be a ride at Six Flags in Dallas. It was the parachute. No, maybe it was here. I don't know. There was a parachute ride. The worst part of the parachute was the initial drop. But once you kept falling, that wasn't so bad at all.
Yeah.
It was just the initial drops. I'm wondering if the skydive was that.
That was like, yeah, that's like Astroworld. They used to have that bungee drop that well, my daughter and I did that. I let her pull the cord. I was too scared too. But her and I, we loved to ride all those crazy rides. Yeah. Anyway, I told her, all right, pull the cord. And as you fall really quick, and then you swing over the water, and that was so cool. Wow. I mean, I'm building my bucket list of things that I want to do, so. That I haven't done yet.
Doesn't sound like there's much. It sounds you've done quite a bit. What else? If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
You did good.
You did good? No undercover work here? No.
You're done.
I got an arts and craft project, though, if you want to work on it. I just can't seem to do it.
Okay, I will for you. Since I'm here and I'm going to be here for a while, I'll do it for you.
Oh, man.
That I did good.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thanks. I enjoyed it. This was fun.